What was I talking? I was ripping on Steam. Let's not focus on complaining about Cataclysm. Yeah, I don't like Steam. I don't like having to launch the launcher every time I want to play one of my games. I don't like that I can't play them offline without launching Steam. I don't like that I can't download backups of the game. You know, there are games on Steam that, like, I hate DRM because DRM. So I don't want to get into the whole software preservation stuff, but like DRM makes certain games unplayable in the future. Do you know how many games out there rely on an internet connection and the services have been shut down, so they're just gone forever? Some of that online only DRM is destroying games that are never going to be accessible in the future, and that's super shitty. Like, games are part of history, games are art, games are important. I hate, it's just whatever. If you want, you can Google DRM and see a lot of the shortcomings, but it really bothers me. I don't like supporting Steam, but unfortunately, Steam got there first, and that's where everybody goes now. So, you know, not everything gets released on GOG. A lot of times I have to buy on Steam or I can't. And I hate even more, like, that there's also Epic and the Ubisoft bullshit and all that other stuff. I just, it gets me so annoyed when I have to go and buy something on the Epic launcher. It kills me. But anyway, so I was looking for games, couldn't really find anything. Hundreds of games I went through, I only found 2 that were really interesting to me, and I didn't buy either of them, so I don't know. Protective lenses. It's pretty rare we get 2 good ones, but we got 2 good ones from this bionic beast of a human being. That's nice. And we'll pickaxe for the last one. And if we get the option to deactivate this one, we're just gonna kill it. I don't see a point in trying to resurrect them. I don't even like NPCs, so Uplay is the worst. It works really bad. What bothers me is when I buy a Uplay game on a different service, but you still have to log into Uplay. Like, I picked up, what was that game? Is it like it, and it's the same DRM stuff I was just talking about. I bought Trials Evolution or whatever the last Trials game was. In order to play it, even on the Xbox, you had to connect to the service. In order to connect to the service, you need an internet account, or an account with them. You need to be able to connect to the internet. If you don't have the service, you can't get the loot boxes, which means all you can do is play like the basic levels. You can't get new equipment. You can't, customize your rider. So 20 years from now, if I want to play Trials Evolution, I'm never going to be able to customize my rider. I'm never going to be able to access certain track stuff that I could previously because I have to connect to the Ubisoft stuff. And I have to have an internet connection. So, like, that game is going to be dead and pointless, Like, yeah, you can run the tracks, which is fun. I really like customizing my guy, But no, I picked up Trackmania, I think. And I got it through the Epic launcher because I couldn't find it anywhere else. It wasn't on Steam, I don't think. But in order to play the game, you still have to go through Uplay. What was it? Trackmania? It might not be Trackmania. I don't remember what game it was. But it annoys me. I just want to play the game. Why should I create an account with you? Why do you need my personal information for me to play a game that I pay you for? Ugh, I hate it. I hate the mainstream gaming industry is going so hard downhill that, like, man, indie games, baby. You better like indie games because that's the future. AAA games are going to continue existing, but they're not going to invent new things. They're not doing it for the sake of the game anymore. They're not doing it for the sake of art. They're not doing it to be innovative. They're doing it to make money, which is fine. Capitalism, blah, blah. You should be compensated for your work. But, like, when money becomes 100% of the motivation and it stops being about the craft and the art and, that stuff, I don't know. You lose the soul of the game, and it's a bummer. In a barracks. This is the first set of small rooms we've seen. This is the 3x3 location, I guess. Let's flashlight peek. It is not 3x3. Actually, it probably is, but they're to our south instead of north. But that's okay. I remember when Ubisoft was doing some good games like Might and Magic Heroes. Now they're doing glitched games like Rainbow Six Siege. For me, the peak of... Oh, was that Uplay? Who made, yeah, Dead Space, right? That's Ubisoft. Modern Norseman is now following. Hey, thanks for the follow. I think Dead Space was Ubisoft. I'm struggling to remember a little bit. I mix up EA, Ubisoft, all these like companies that to me are interchangeable, or I thought, didn't EA and Ubisoft, aren't they the same? No, I mix it all up. Dead Space was EA. Okay. The last thing I can think of that had the Uplay that I played was like one of the Splinter Cells, like 15 years ago. And that's the last time I really thought that they had anything I was interested in. And like I said, the Trials game I think was the Ubisoft servers. But yeah, they're not even like, I can't think of anything that they're doing right now that's any good. So I don't know. The big companies, man. Origin is the EA one, right? You had my follow when I heard trash talk about Ubisoft. I mean, I just don't like... I don't like any of the big game companies out there right now. I used to like Blizzard. Blizzard was one that had my vote. I loved World of Warcraft. Heroes of the Storm was really good. Diablo has been a solid franchise. People like StarCraft. And then it all started to swing downhill. They did the whole mobile announcement for Diablo, which lost a huge fan base. They shut down support for Heroes of the Storm. The World of Warcraft things have been going steadily downhill over the years, and they're becoming more microtransactional. Used to be Blizzard was like a really good place to work. People would like really strive to, oh man, I want to work on World of Warcraft when I graduate from college. I really want to go to work for Blizzard. And now it's like just another soulless, you know, company that's, I don't know. It's a whole thing. I can't think of a good mainstream video game company, to be honest. They merged with that other company. Yeah, it's Activision Blizzard now. Activision's the same way. Like, they used to make good games. When I was a kid, Activision made a lot of like PS1 games or PS1. They've made games for many, many years. They were a fine company. It was no big deal. Then, you know, we got up to around Call of Duty era where all of a sudden they're churning out basically carbon copies of the same game every 6, months to a year. They're starting to hammer in the microtransactions where they're charging you for really basic cosmetic stuff that really should be included for free in the game. Their whole monetization schemes are just a little bit out of control. I just... it's the same story that is always told, is that the company starts out and it's a small team of people. Look at Maxis, look at EA, any of these big companies. They start out as relatively small companies that are making games because they love video games, and it's like they want to do it. It's a passion. And then what happens is over time they become bigger and bigger and bigger. They go public, they start having shareholders, and all of a sudden, instead of creating something because they love it and they want it to thrive, they're creating something because they're trying to please the shareholders. Because they're trying to please the shareholders, they have to push more and more aggressive microtransactional schemes because their shareholders say, hey, we saw that EA, has made another, $14 million from microtransactions. Why doesn't every game we make have microtransactions? And they start to pressure, and it's a accountability to profit rather than, doing something for the love of the game. And I don't know, we have this conversation kind of a lot. It comes up all the time. I don't know that innovation and art and that kind of stuff, I don't know that can coexist with shareholders, with that climb for cash. I don't know. I don't work in the industry really. I don't know. These are just my thoughts as a consumer, and it's disappointing, to be honest. It's been upsetting over the years to watch it gradually go downhill. I had to wait over 24 hours to play a Ubisoft game I had bought because the email from Forgotten Password didn't arrive until then. I mean, and that too, every time a game releases, the servers are also down. Like people here, like they can't seem to. It's a whole other can of worms. Let me read chat. I need to go to sleep to get up tomorrow. Good night. Have a fun stream. Goodbye, Dan Hawk. Thanks for stopping in. So I also think that, like you saying that made me think about their servers. I know that that's not what you were saying, but that's where my brain went. And like that's the other thing. Like because they're trying to make as much profit as possible, they really skimp on the things that are absolutely necessary, like customer support and launch servers and all this stuff that's pretty basic and pretty important. And then over time, they're trying to cut those costs as much as possible. So even if they know we're going to sell, 30 million copies or like a crap ton of games, they'll go with the bare minimum number of servers, which leads to basically every time a big game launches, people saying, why weren't there more servers? Why can't I get into the game? Whatever. Because they're trying to save as much money as possible and ignore that they need to buy more servers. Because servers are expensive and blah blah, etc. But they want that every penny, I don't know. Game culture, like the culture of the game studios is just seems so bad to me. And I don't know. I believe in creativity and art and passion for creation way more than I worry about money and stuff. But that's just me. Apogee, or what was the name of the studio doing Duke Nukem? Apogee. Yeah, Apogee was a lot of those style of games back in the day. They were a pretty popular company. I'm blanking on the other things that they did. I hear their name a lot when I look back at like classic PC games from like the 90s. What was that? What was the game with Lo Wang? It was like this super racist Asian samurai Duke Nukem, basically. That was Apogee as well. I don't know why I'm blanking on their other work. They did a lot of stuff back in the day. They would do shareware and stuff. I mean, I guess everyone did back then, but... So we got these nanobots. I really wish we could install them. Enhanced memory banks. Again, we don't have soap either. We should have looked in the lab if we could find some soap or detergent. I'm sure we came across some and I forgot that we needed it. I don't really care about the protective lenses or the power storage, but... And we'll drop all the books because we're full up. Check our inventory again. Yeah, don't need the antibiotics. Don't need the antibiotics or the potato. Interestingly, it let us dissect while I had this tarp in my inventory rather than deployed. Why is there a little X next to my tarp? What does that mean? Is in the drop menu? Oh, because it's not... No, that can't be right. Why is there an X next to this? It's the inventory letter, but that letter is shared with my mace. Oh yes, Commander Keen. Thank you. Yes, Commander Keen. Like I said, they did a lot back then. That's one name that comes up if you watch LGR for any length of time. That's a company that gets thrown around a lot. Game auto added an inventory key. Yeah, but that's peculiar because... One, I already have an X in my inventory. It's the mace. And two, it doesn't normally assign those to things inside of containers. So that makes me think it's outside of a container, but it can't be because I'm not wielding it. Its derp is stronger than logic. Well, I can't argue with that. We're hungry and thirsty. Let's deal with that. Ooh, border collie. Where's there a border collie? Oh, puppy, I haven't had fresh meat in a while. Oh, shouldn't murder dogs, but they're delicious. Let's, just want to talk to you, dog. What's up, pup? Where'd you go? We lost sight of him? Where are you? Oh, don't run away. It saw a guy with a mace coming and it knew. It knew what was going to happen. We'll have a quick glance around for it, but I think... Oh! I think it's gone. Where are you, pupper? You are fleeing. Why are you fleeing, though? I haven't attacked you. Oh, because it's injured? What injured you, pup? We're not going to chase the dog. I really don't feel like it. And every time I pursue things through the woods, it usually doesn't really go the way I want it to. So we'll just eat some more whatever we have around. Which of you is food? You know, we have all these MREs. Let's have an MRE. It'll give us a proper meal. Oh, you know what? We've been dealing with our low-calorie stores for a long time. And I haven't eaten all day, basically. So we're going to have some issues, I think, with our calorie stores. MREs aren't even that calorie dense. We'll go meatball and marinara. That sounds pretty good. Or marinara, depending on how you pronounce it. I say marinara because, as far as I'm concerned, that is correct. We'll butcher the dessert pack and accessory pack as well. Oh no, I cut it up instead of disassembling it, so we lost everything inside of the dessert pack. I hate when that happens because I don't really understand why cutting it up gives you plastic but not the items that were inside of it. So we lost some calories there. That's really unfortunate. We'll eat the only like 600 calories. But we're not hungry anymore. I'm not sure if we can swallow another one. Take off the knit cap and the scarf because now we're hot. Check our inventory. We're hot basically everywhere. Okay. Pretty interesting. Again, we did start the game completely freezing to death for some reason. So it's a peculiar flip. Let's eat... I need more calories. We don't have very many calorie dense foods. Where'd all my cans of food go? Pasta. I don't want pasta. I had all these cans of chicken. Where's my... Okay. No, pickled. No, no, no. Peanut butter. Pickled. No, where'd all my... Okay. Sure. Spam. Sure. Spam's pretty gross. We'll eat some spam. Let's, do you cook spam? Fried spam. Sure. We'll make, 2. I think the cans contain 4 portions, but we'll do this and see. Okay, eat some spam. Really, spam, oh, that's right. Spam in general, like even in real life, you know, obviously it's based on real life values. Spam does not have as many calories as you think, considering it's just meat and fat. You would think it would be a lot more, but it's really not. So we'll eat some spam, but okay. And then we'll check if this spam is open. Go to spam. See, now I'm... Okay, it's sealed. Why? I'm confused. So we have a can with 3 spam that is sealed. And we have a can with 5 spam in it that is sealed. Why would they have variable portions when they're both... I don't care. Where'd my tea go? Grab the tea. Sure. We are satisfied, so we might have some trouble drinking. Very thirsty. I'm not going to go to bed very thirsty, so let's read to raise our computers until that goes away. It probably is on this pile. We should really sort. Go ahead and sort everything. Yes. Hopefully it doesn't dump anything on the floor. I don't think that it would. We'll go to books, and we'll hit the read button. We do have a lot of books. We don't really care about that. We're looking for computers specifically. Computer 301, yes. And we'll go outside and read. We'll just read for the time being. Oh, and of course the night has fallen. Too dark to read, yep. Drink some tea. Still thirsty, back to satisfied, okay. Give me the other tea. We'll drink that, and we'll need... Oh, you know what? I bet I had the dome lights on all night. I did. And our batteries are dead. Wait. Love when that happens. So I doubt I can start the engine. It did start, which is great news, because that means this will charge our batteries. So we got here just in time before the batteries died to the point where the car would no longer start. So we'll let that run. Pretty interesting that the solar panel's not enough to to deal with the fact that we have a freezer running. You would think that well, no, because the solar panel doesn't generate charge 24/7. It's only during daylight hours. And it's close enough that it would be a gradually lowering number. Okay. No, don't step in the smoke. We're going to go back to reading. And I got to imagine the dome light doesn't consume a lot of battery charge, but whatever. Anyway. I don't like spam. Do you like spam, chat? I'm not a big fan. It's just too salty, and it's too... Honestly, so here's the thing. When you open a can of spam, and you plop it out, it's a can-shaped lump of meat. And what grosses me out is that it always has a thick layer of like just congealed, clear white fat all around the cube. And that is what is off-putting to me. I don't mind the taste. I can eat it sometimes. You know, if the family's like, hey, you know, I made a little bit of like eggs and spam. Do you want some? Why is it not letting me stop? Stop, please. You know, do you want some? I'll say sure. I'll take a piece of spam, whatever. But like when I open the can and it just flops out, that's what turns me off about it. 8 Legs says meat is meat. No, I don't think so. That's the other thing. Spam is literally liquefied meat that they form into the shape of the can, and that is very gross. Like a lot of lunch meat is like that as well. Hot dogs are like that as well, where it's liquefied meat that gets formed into a particular shape. That really bothers me, and it's a mental hurdle that I have. So like whenever I buy my lunch meat, I make sure I don't buy that kind of lunch meat. I buy properly, like literally meat that has been sliced, rather than, because basically lunch meat, let's say you get, what do they call it? Like doggy bologna is what we called it when we were kids. It's like that bologna that has the red ring around it. That is essentially a big liquid meat that they poured into a bag shape, like into a bag, and then sliced the red. Like it's liquid meat that has been formed in. It just grosses me out. I don't know. Do what you want. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I don't like it. No, stop with the smoke. Go back to reading. We are tired. Our focus is okay. Let's read a little bit longer, and then we'll go to bed. Because I don't really want to let the engine run overnight. I would rather turn it off before we go to sleep. So if we could just kill like an hour or two where it's running, I think we'll be okay. I've not had it in so long, I don't know. It's just juicy. I enjoyed the spam sketch by Monty Python, but if I've ever eaten spam, I did not enjoy it enough to want to try it. Yeah, it's not. I don't like it. Yeah, that's just the lucky part. I'll take real ham, thanks, or bacon. Yes, bacon is a gift from the heavens, as everyone knows. Oh, we're all the way up to 40%. We must have read a lot longer than I intended. Turn off the dome lights, turn off the engine, and we'll go to bed now. We're not thirsty, we're not hungry. Good time to sleep. Check our temperature. We are in the negatives for some reason, even though we were in the positive 40s a minute ago. We are now in the negatives again. Let's have ourselves, let's save. And ooh, let's put on our headgear so that we're not sleeping. That would be over here, I think. Where headgear? Yes. So that the sounds of the lab don't wake us up. We'll go to bed. I don't like bacon as much as a lot of people. It is very fatty, very salty flavor. I like it in small doses. I don't like my family will occasionally buy a big pack of bacon. They'll cook it all up and then they'll just have bacon for dinner. And that's disgusting. Like that's it's too much meat, it's too much fat, too much salt, too much. Like you need to cut that bacon flavor with like eggs or toast or something. You can't just eat a fistful of bacon. It's disgusting. Or look, do what you want, internet. If that's you, more power to you. But I think that's gross. So I'm not like super into bacon. And being poor growing up, we never had treats like that. We always ate garbage. It was like, oh, I'm gonna make noodle casserole out of macaroni and tuna because we're poor, right? So it's like, I grew up kind of without that stuff, and I don't need bacon to survive. I'm perfectly happy living a baconless life. And ham, I'm not a big pork guy. Something about ham, it's the same thing. When I was growing up, we ate that garbage, like liquefied versions of ham, not real ham. So my whole life I've been eating this really crappy, poor quality meat. I don't like it, so I'm just not a big pork dude. Bacon is adult candy. A huge piece of hog meat is the best food. Unicorn has committed the bacon treason. Look, if you're into it, more power to you. It is just definitely not for me. Get some waffles and syrup with your bacon. That is a good sweet combo with the bacon, as well as having something a little bit more substantial than just a little piece of meat. I think is very good. I do think that waffles and bacon sounds pretty great. We are awake, we are hungry, we are thirsty. I would really like to get to Computers 5, but it's such slow reading. Let's eat another MRE. Actually, let's make some more spam, because it's just taking up space anyway. Spam. We have 8 portions. Let's make 3. I think there was a can with 3. I'm not sure how it prioritizes which can gets eaten and which doesn't, but eat some spam. Drink some green tea. Again, I prefer black tea. Black tea holds up a little bit better to being over steeped, whereas green tea is a little bit more delicate, and I tend to burn green tea because I really steep my tea too long, honestly. And it gets a little bit bitter, so I don't love green tea. Well, I'm sure we've talked about that before. Something else that is kind of gross is fish sticks. It's like grinded fish eyes, but it's actually good. We eat fish sticks like once a year. Like we'll make some for my niece. She'll buy it. My family member will buy a big pack and we'll eat them. I don't really care about. Listen, man. If you're concerned about ground up fish into a stick, I hate to break it to you. That's what every chicken nugget you get is ground up chicken meat that they threw in every little bit they could get and formed it into a nugget shape. Do you think the nugget does not exist in nature, my friend? It is a man-made shape. A lot of chicken sandwiches that you'll get at most places are like that. Sausage is like that. There's a huge percentage of, like, I'm gonna say it, internet, if you don't want to hear something gross, plug your ears. A lot of sausage is like lips and various other body parts I'm not going to mention that maybe aren't considered good meat, like the parts of the animal that you would not want from a butcher gets made into hot dogs, into cheap sausages, all that kind of stuff. It's bad. It's bad. I love sausages though. Sausages are a huge staple of my diet. So we ate some spam. Let's check to make sure it didn't open another can of spam. It did not, so that's good. We're not thirsty or hungry. Let's go back in. I don't really feel like standing around and reading. Nugget trees when? You're saying it's awful. Aha. Yeah, because awful is organ meat. I actually don't know the legality of organ meat per se. I think it's just generally meat that is not desirable. I don't think that it's actual organs, because I think that organs, there are rules about what can use organ meat. Actually, are organs even considered meat? I think meat is like specifically flesh. So I might be saying that wrong, but whatever. But it's gross, is my point. Don't ever ask about how the food gets made, is my point. And it's better to just not know these things and go through your life eating what you like instead of thinking about what all your food actually is. What? It's all grinded? At least it's climate friendly to use all the parts of the animals if you were a glass half full kind of guy. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, it kind of, in the back of my head, it bothers me when I was a kid and I found out that so when I was a kid, I would eat food and my uncle was really mean, so my uncle would lie to me about everything. So like when we would eat sauerkraut, he told us, "Oh, get out of there. That's fungus. No, thank you." When we would eat sauerkraut, he told us that sauerkraut was made when um, basically someone was growing cabbage and someone would go outside and pee outside, and the pee would get on the cabbage and it made it all gross, and that's what sauerkraut was. So like when I was a kid, I was like 7, and I believed my uncle when he told me that it was that. So I didn't want to eat that anymore. And he told me that hot dogs were made when they would be at like meat factories where they would process the animals. He said that any food that fell on the ground, they would shovel into a big bucket, and that's what they made hot dogs out of, was whatever fell down. And so like when I was a kid, this stuff really bothered me. Now that I'm an adult, I don't care that it's like anuses and stuff that make their way into certain cheap sausages and stuff. I don't. If you don't think it's just food, um, and it's not like it's gonna kill me. So just try not to think about it and power through. And again, I really like sausages. So like for me, sausages are a staple part of the diet. They're a very frequent meat source that we have around the house. And yeah, just keep swimming. Just don't think about it. It's fine.